Well, message received. I'm gonna keep it the same concept here. I will be comparing these two characters together, not as like a competition at all. More or less just comparing their similarities and their differences. Now, with that being said, big spoiler warning for all the Walking Dead games and the Last of Us games. Both of them. Sorry. And also, I want to ask a favor. If this video speaks to you in any way, or you're a big Last of Us fan or a Walking Dead fan, I have a video I want you to watch. It's called 3 Days Left. It's my Walking Dead fan fiction, and quite frankly, it's my baby, and I'm really proud of it. And it's kind of something I might explore further down the line, especially if people, ask for it. It was mainly like a little passion project just for me, but with the way it turned out, I kind of want people to see it. Like, what do you think about it, It was made out of love and passion for these games. Without Walking Dead and Last of Us, it probably wouldn't have ever been made. Anyway, with that being said, check it out. I honestly don't think you'll regret it.
What's your name?
I'm Clementine. This is my house.
Hi, Clementine. I'm Lee.
Now, while I respect Lee as a character, I don't feel like I really got to know him the first time I played the game. I mean, who is Lee really? Upon revisiting Season 1, I think I finally realized who Lee truly is. He is a leader, which makes perfect sense considering he used to be a teacher. A flawed man, but a teacher nonetheless. And the man definitely had a past, despite his best efforts to move past it. While some people held that against him, some people chose to ignore his past and just focus on the present. Judge him by the man he is now. Now, as far as being the leader goes, there was plenty of people in the crew that tried to lead and failed. But honestly, Lee seemed like he was the most level-headed out of all of them, and he didn't let his emotions get in the way of what needed to be done. And that's not saying he didn't visit dark places sometimes, especially to protect his people, but he never stayed there for very long. With that being said, Lee never suffered a major loss because of the apocalypse. And honestly, the apocalypse probably gave him more to lose, as opposed to some people who lost everything because of it.
Don't do this to me, baby. Don't do this to me, baby. Come on. No. 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 Please. Please don't.
I mean, don't get me wrong here. Lee definitely got blindsided by the apocalypse, but I mean, Joel wasn't given a fighting chance. I mean, it took away his daughter and said, fuck you, deal with it. And for 20 years, he did just that. And through those 20 years, he was no saint. And as I said, Lee would visit dark places sometimes, but Joel, he pitched a whole damn tent. He stayed there for a long time, but he was a survivor. And that was a product of his past. Tragedy. And with that being said, I can't talk about these men without mentioning their main reason for fighting so hard. The way these two men started their adventures with these girls couldn't be more different. Lee went at it with open arms and brought Clementine in without hesitation. Joel resisted it, and quite frankly, so did Ellie.
I want Joel to watch over her.
Whoa, I don't think that's the
I'm not
best
Ellie.
idea.
him.
Joel at first couldn't care less what happened to Ellie. He wanted nothing to do with her, while Lee did everything he could to make sure that Clementine was safe. He teaches her, he protects her at all costs, he's open and honest with her, and even though she's only 8 years old, his words and his lessons echo in her brain and in her heart for years to come. While Joel, emotionally and mentally, has his walls up, and he was teaching through his actions whether he realized it or not. And eventually, after some growing pains, he couldn't deny anymore that he cared about Ellie, no matter how hard he tried not to. Ellie helped him move on from his past. And because of that, he refused to relive his past, despite it being for the greater good.
What happened? No, that's not... No. I'm not letting you go. I'm not letting you go.
With both these men being dead and gone, what remains? For Ellie, not a lot. Ellie is left wondering what's left for her. What remains? Memories? I mean, while Clementine always goes to Lee for comfort, Even though he may be gone, she's always looking up. She thinks the world of this man. Her memory is strong and powerful and helpful, while Ellie's is tainted and bitter. And the worst part, Joel knows it, but he still cares. And even though it may be tragic, that just goes to show his past doesn't define him anymore, even if, in the end, it got him killed. And sorta in the same sense with Lee, his heart led the way, and it ended up being part of the reason why he didn't make it. All in all, this is another situation where both these characters are vastly different to each other. Lee being the teaching, caring, comforting father figure that Clementine needed at the time to take care of her, and did his best until he couldn't anymore. And don't get me wrong here, I'm not trying to put Joel down as like a horrible guy or a father figure. The dude has a good heart under all that muck, and there are glimpses of that in The Last of Us 1, but The Last of Us 2 showed us what Ellie and Joel could have been if things weren't so...
I swear, so washed up.
But we're done.
I would like to try.
complicated. I mean, we really are comparing apples to oranges here. I mean, from walking through a horde of zombies with just a meat cleaver and a glass shard, to dooming the entire human race. They're not really on the same level. But with respect to both these men, they're well beloved for similar but different reasons. But if there is one thing that they have in common, God help anyone who tries to stand in their way.
You just come after her.